Hello again. Hopefully class is going good for you. Hey, last module was on fine motor development, and you looked at some definitions, theoretical models, stages of typical and atypical fine motor development, the factors affecting that development, the development in young children with special needs for motor skills, specific strategies for assessment of fine motor skills, and instruction methods. There was also some technology and information in there, and so hopefully that was put to some good use with um, your knowledge test. And let's go ahead and look at this week. So this week's focus is chapter 6, and it really is on self-care skills, and it develops on those skills that can be disrupted in young children with special needs. These skills include a wide array of functions, but typically include dressing, grooming, feeding, self-feeding, sleeping, and toileting. While all children develop self-care skills in their own way, children with special needs experience a wide array of challenges, and in many instances, a different and slower rate of development with respect to attainment of what would otherwise be perceived as basic tasks. A lack of understanding of new situations is also common for young children with special needs, and this can easily lead to stressful and reactive situations where a child may not perform a self-help skill, even if he or she is capable. Additionally, while internal and external factors affect development of self-care skills, each child has specific needs and preferences. These needs and preferences must be pushed to the forefront of all adaptations and intervention efforts, in conjunction with the family needs, perspectives, in order to be able to facilitate the development of self-care skills and functional independence, which is ultimately what we're after. Obviously, the development of targeted self-care skills will be varying by the type and severity of the disability. For children with motor impairments, position may have an incredible impact on the child's success in advancing the self-care skills. For example, if they need proper support in order to have atypical posture tone, it's necessary for a child to receive proper nutrients via sucking, swallowing, chewing, and cup drinking. In this regard, oral maturation also is an important aspect of self-care skills, because without it, a lack of nutrients would contribute to additional health and developmental complications. Primitive oral reflexes eventually grow into the ability to chew and swallow complex solid foods, even if it takes significantly more time to evolve when compared to typically developing peers. In cases where the child is particularly sensitive to touch, taste, texture, or new experiences, easing into change is highly recommended. This is frequently the case for children with autism spectrum disorder. My son that had the large cleft palate, he had some eating and drinking issues. And so we actually visited with an occupational therapist that helped him learn how to take food in, move it from the front of his tongue to the back of his tongue, and how to swallow. Such a skill that we just think is automatic, but he had to go and really learn how to do that with his tongue. When he was born, he was also tongue-tied, so when they clipped that, he had never in utero had the opportunity or the need to move his tongue forward and backwards. And so we had to go through occupational therapy so that he could learn the transition from sucking, which he couldn't do because of his cleft, to now eating even barely solid foods when we had the real runny cereal mix for him. And so it was quite quite a disorder, not a disorder. It was a quite the event for him and challenging as we worked through that. And it took several months for him to really master swallowing a little more solid foods. So similarly, for non-feeding based activities, creating alternative strategies can aid in tasks such as dressing, grooming, self-feeding, sleeping, and toileting. Taking into consideration the nature of the child's developmental needs and condition is helpful in creating these strategies. For example, a child having autism spectrum disorder might require a looser wardrobe so he or she feels comfortable putting on those clothing and is able to remove them for toileting. Adaptive equipment can also be useful to facilitate the development and deployment of self-help skills. This equipment not only takes performance pressures off the child and the caregiver, but it can also act as a safety equipment. As a result, consulting with various occupational therapists, physical therapists, and other types of therapists can be critical for the early interventionist in order to ensure safety and positive developmental progress for the child and family. We have a friend who he's on the lower level of the autism spectrum, and they had to buy 5 of the same exact shirts because it was the only shirt where the tag felt comfortable, where the seams were comfortable for him. And so they had 5 different shirts of the same exact one, but that was just what made him feel comfortable. So instead of fighting about that, they just found that it was easier just to go with it. So, every family in conjunction, hopefully with the early interventionist, is able to find those adaptive things to just make it a non-issue with their kids. Well, thank you and good luck in your knowledge tests. And I hope that you are moving along, and good luck in your future. Again, remember, you can contact me for anything if you have any questions, concerns, or just need some additional support. Thank you.